Yeah, I mean, I think the vision started a long time ago with our athletic director, Brent Harden and Margaret Strand. They kind of envisioned starting a program somewhere in the U.S. and different things brought them to Alabama, and they started this program in 2003, a much smaller scale than it is right now. But again, I think it starts with a vision, and a lot of things that are great start with a vision, and through hard work and making the right connections and eventually getting a lot of university support. I think that's kind of brought us to this point where we have the Strand Harden Arena, this state-of-the-art facility that we get to practice in every day, and we've brought in some great athletes from not only across the U.S. but some international athletes too. And I think we've created a culture, a championship culture, not only on the court but off the court as well. And it's a great institution from an academic standpoint too. So I think all of those things contribute into people wanting to be a part of it, and people wanting to be a part of this program and this university. I think success is really hard to come by at this level, really at any level in sports. But I think sustained success is even harder because you have to find that motivation every day, right? You have to find that motivation every day to show up to practice, to show up to weights, to show up to small groups, to show up individually and work on things. But I think we have the group to do it. I think we understand that success isn't anything that's given. You have to earn it. And I think this year's group was a great example of that. You know, we had amazing talent. We had a lot of talented girls, but we didn't want to settle for being average. We wanted to be great, and we knew that if we wanted to be great and reach our potential and reach our goals individually, it was going to take us showing up every day and working hard. So we have a fantastic group, but it's a challenge every year because you have a different team. That's the fun about college basketball. You got people that graduate, you got incoming freshmen that come in, and you've got to figure out what your group is. You have to find your group's identity for that season, and the earlier you can find it, the better. But yeah, it's continued work, a continued grind every day. We want to be as much like stand-up sports as possible. Like, we look to them as something that we can emulate, and if we want to be great, like, what better place to look at than the other stand-up teams on campus? So we train just as hard as they do. So a typical week for our athletes is we have a 2-hour practice. That's 5 days a week, and then twice a week we call it small groups, which is an hour twice a week, where we'll work on individual skills. Depending on the time of season, we might get some extra volume shots up in that time. And then we lift 3 times a week, and that's about an hour session as well. So you're looking at several hours in here, not to mention some of the individual stuff that they're required to do as far as getting up shots during the week. So you're looking at least a couple more hours in here during the week. Oh, not to mention they're full-time students. And we put a huge emphasis on being a student athlete. And our team GPA is something that I'm just as proud of what we do on the court. I think we had a 3.8 in the fall team cumulative GPA. So yeah, we're dangerous in the classroom as well as on the court. So, but it's a huge commitment, and we help them out as much as we can with academic meetings. But if they're going to be a student athlete here, they've got to put in the time in the classroom and they got to put in the time on the court. But it's a massive commitment.